day 4 of testimony in the involuntary manslaughter trial of Jennifer Crumbley. Among the witnesses called to the stand today were Crumbley's boss and the former dean of students at Oxford High School.
We also had several people who spoke who said that they worked with Jennifer at the time. A lot of powerful testimony happening today. Tonight, our Lauren Winfrey continues our coverage from the Oakland County Circuit Court. Lauren, what can you tell us about everything that played out today on day 4?
Well, Terrence, things wrapped up just a bit ago here, and for the first time today, we saw a video inside of a squad car. Jennifer Crumbley was inside of that car shortly after the shooting. The jury also saw some graphic images, pictures taken inside the high school shortly after the shooting as well. And let's take you inside the courtroom to get a better idea of how things played out today. So six witnesses took the stand, one of them being Jennifer Crumbley's former colleague, Amanda Holland. When she testified third, and during her testimony, she stated Jennifer once told her her son said he was hearing things. She also referenced Crumbley telling her about a fight that happened at the home the night before the shooting. During that conversation, she also shared her son had been locked out of the house that night too. And Holland says when Crumbley returned to work after meeting with her son's counselor, they had another conversation.
She came in and it was kind of just, she has kind of a sarcastic personality, so when she came in, she kind of visibly slumped and was, said, I feel like a failure as a parent. And she said that there was the meeting at the school and that there were the drawings and they were worried about him and that he needed to get into counseling within 48 hours. I just remember telling her that, it was scary and, maybe she should spend some time with him to make him feel better.
Did she ask your advice?
She didn't ask for it, no.
Okay. But what was the advice that you gave?
I just said that I think I would have brought my son home if it had happened to me. Something along the lines of that. I just said I would have brought my son home.
Yeah, so very telling of just how much Jennifer Crumbley shared with her colleague, and then also this discussion they had surrounding her son's mental health and behavior. Day 5 resumes tomorrow morning, but for now, reporting live in Pontiac, Lauren Winfrey, CBS News, Detroit.
Lauren, thank you. And of course, we'll have that coverage for you in the morning once they continue. But in the meantime, we continue our coverage of everything that's played out throughout the day. Defense attorneys Arnold Reed and Rick Convertino here with us as we continue that conversation.
All right, thanks so much for both of you being here through all of this. We mentioned some of the people we heard from on the stand today. What stands out to you the most, Arnold?
The prosecution had a clear theme. They had a clear direction. They brought witnesses on to back up their theory. For what I believe we'll make a great closing argument. The defense, on the other hand, was a little discombobulated. They stumbled at points. They didn't get what they could have got out of some witnesses, and I think their questioning was too long. So if they want to get back in this game, they want to convince the jury that Ms. Crumbley is not guilty of manslaughter, they better get back on the stick, shorten those questions, and start figuring out the direction in their theories.
Yeah, because it seems almost at times like we're losing the focus when the defense comes up. We've said several times that once they finished, we didn't really feel like we got to a point.
Right. There was never a clear and concise cross-examination. I don't think up to this point in the trial there has been once. The best cross-examination is no cross-examination, and that's been about as effective as the defense got. The last witness I thought was very important for purposes of placing the jury at the scene, and the last witness was a forensic expert who walked the jury through each and every of 32 gunshots. From the time that the shooter started in the bathroom, we saw his backpack in the bathroom, which was kind of a chilling sight in one of the exhibits, and then 12 exhibits seriatim showing each and every step of the way that the shooter took and where the gunshots were, the expended shells were recovered, including shooting into 4 different classrooms.
Rick, from those photos, from that piece of evidence to the photos in the Crumbley's home showing us what that home situation was like, how important is that to the case for the prosecution or the defense?
Well, I think it's important in the sense that it certainly shows that Jennifer Crumbley was anything but a vigilant mother, and that was the theme of the opening statement. And what I think they're trying to espouse throughout the case is that Jennifer was a vigilant mother. Even though she still missed these signs which was reasonable according to the defense, based on the cross-examination and the direct examination of others, like Hopkins and Smith, the school employees who said that they did not deem Ethan Crumbley to be a threat to others, and that's why they allowed him to return to the class. That was juxtaposed by the redirect examination, which was extraordinarily effective, of asking both witnesses, well, here's what you knew. You knew a small piece of information about Ethan Crumbley, that in the math worksheet and the other information that they had recovered through questioning him, talking to him, juxtaposed with the evidence that came out that the defendant had. That is that her son was hearing voices, that he thought there were demons in the house, that he thought he was under attack, that he at one point in time said, "Help me, I can't get rid of these thoughts." That was all in the morning. And then later in the afternoon on the same day, November 30th, the defendant in this case sent a text and said, "Ethan is the shooter." Now, she sent the text before she was ever informed that her son was the actual shooter. And so she came to the conclusion rapidly based on the information she had. I think it's critical to show that she was aware of the potential consequences, because she came to the conclusion before she received affirmative information that her son was the actual shooter.
And Arnold, you said that footage from the back of that squad car was also a key takeaway from today.
I think that was a pivotal moment, along with the house. When you looked at the house, there was a liquor bottle on the floor, things were disheveled, and they seemed like parents who had just checked out, right? They just left this kid on his own. I mean, we were really left to wonder, why was one of the windows covered with board? What happened there? Were bullets fired out of that window? I mean, who knows? That's something that the defense has to come back and clean up. But going back to the car, we really got a glimpse into what I feel was great police work. He gets her in the car, says, "We just want to talk to you. You're not really a suspect. We just want to get information." When you're getting someone in a car like that, they're not under arrest. They're not in custody. And so you can ask those questions. I know probably a lot of the viewers were sitting back at home saying, they didn't read her rights, the Fifth Amendment, blah, blah, blah. She wasn't in custody. She was free to leave. He not only got invaluable information for the prosecution's case, but when Mr. Crumbley goes on trial, valuable information for that case. She gave up the goods in the back of that scout car, and it's all legal.
Yeah, it seems there was a lot of concern for herself. The texting of the boss, "I can't lose my job," immediately, wondering what that outcome is going to be for her, and saying she doesn't understand where this came from. How much do you think that's going to play into this case of her mindset? Does that rise to just being a bad parent, or does that rise to manslaughter?
She appeared to be a little duplicitous in the back of that scout car, meaning if you looked at it when the police officer was in the scout car, she was kind of crying. She was disheveled. She was just not at herself. And then when the police officer got out of the car, she made a phone call. She was cool, she was calm, collected. Now, the video was hard to hear, but you could hear her say, "Hey, bae." Her voice was calm. That's very important. A jury has to assess credibility. And in a case like this, credibility is everything. When you see the police officers on the witness stand and also the dean was well prepared. The defense lawyer tried to rake him over the coals for, "Why didn't you look in the bag? It was heavy. Weren't you suspicious?" He leaned back and said, "I didn't have reasonable suspicion." I mean, that's a legal word. You know he's been prepped, but he came across very, very well. So far in the credibility battle, it's no contest at this point. The prosecution is way over the top, and the defense is going to have a hard way to go. They have got a lot to make up here.
Yeah, also in line quickly with questioning credibility, Jennifer had rushed away from that meeting because she said she had to get back to work.
Right.
Hearing from her boss today, we were told that she could make her own schedule, basically.
Right. Andy Smith, who was her supervisor, the CEO of Princeton Real Estate, said that they were a very family-friendly organization, and that had she asked if she could take the rest of the day off and take her son to a mental health professional, he certainly would have agreed to do that.
But it made it look like the opposite. She just wanted to get back to work, and that made her look bad. I mean, and that's just one incident of what we saw unfold today. And again, the defense, I mean, they have their work cut out for them. Their defense is going down, like I said earlier, quicker than the Titanic. They've got a lot to do here.
Yeah, that seems to be an ongoing theme here after these first 4 days of testimony. Of course, the trial continues tomorrow. We will be covering that from gavel to gavel as well. Arnold Reed and Rick Convertino,
Thanks so
so
much
much for being here
Thank you.
today.
Thank you so much.